hello, audience, my beautiful people. We have already started on the. We have started vibing with me, my very special guest, because yes, we have already mentioned resilience because it's already maybe the third or fourth times in this remote studio, which apparently didn't want to work with us on Sunday, but we never gave up. That's why I'm sitting today here in Norway after 2 days of great productions. You have no idea. Just stay tuned. And we have already discussed with my amazingly talented friend our big news, which is coming a little bit later this, yes, not this summer, but yes, a little bit closer to September. But this is big surprise still for you. So thank you so much for being with us. Today, welcome to Diversity is the Game Changer. And our title for our podcast today, it was like, I love a little bit quote in my guests, and I was scrolling your Instagram, and I love a lot of things, how you commented, and I like many of them. So it was hard to choose actually. So, but I love you wrote on your Valentine's Day where you were like this hearts. You wrote hearts were what it wants. I love it.
Thank you.
Easy, understandable, but with true heart. And I do believe in our modest goal. Everything you are doing from your heart, this is the most valuable. And it's really, really talk about sustainable fashion with this artist, right? So it was difficult to choose. It was like first title was heart wears what it wants or sustainably epic fashion with Nicholas Martello, right?
Yes.
Or it was design in bold future, sustainable fashion art with Nicholas Martello. So we can choose together, but both are perfect. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show. Thank you for having yourself and your creation and talent with us on Sunday. Oh my God. Yes, welcome to Diversity.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you. And ever since I met you, I was just so drawn to your energy. So it really means a lot to be here on this podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you, my darling. Yes, we connected like this because I was hosting the fashion show for very, very, very good, beautiful soul, my friend brother in New York, Harley de Oliveira. I
The
love
best.
him.
The
He is
best.
so young, good, beautiful, soul true, and that's why, of course, he is creating and expressing that to his role through his fashion art. And I was hosting his very first solo show, and then I met Nick, amazing soul as well. So welcome to another exciting episode of Designing Diverse Bold Futures. Today we're diving into the world of fashion art and activism with the true talent who is shaking up the fashion paradigm. Our guest today is not just found fashion artist, but a bold role model, true advocate for diversity, equality, and sustainable fashion. His designs push the boundaries of creativity while staying committed to sustainability, ethical practices you can share with us. And how I call it anti-fast fashion, because you are doing just everything by yourself, solo by solo, from your heart, and it's amazing. So it's really touched by your soul. It's just one piece at a time. So I'm dying to actually to shine in your design and what actually you will be doing for me. But I'm not sharing more news. It will be even more.
The secret, yes.
Yes, secret. So so you are your boundaries of creativity while staying committed to sustainability and until, like I said, fast fashion. So this is a true example how fashion can be and should be a force for the good. So Nicholas is leading not just by talking, advocating, but by his example and inspiring the next or your generation and my generations of change makers. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. That was quite the intro. Thank you so much. You're giving me a lot of credit, but I'm really
Thank
excited
you.
to talk about
No, but I know what because your fashion is so great, it's art. So however I could describe it, it should be experienced. It can't be described. But then at the end of the show, so of course we will put all the link information. You can go and check yourself. So my very first question always is already tradition. Of course, I believe we all came from our childhood, right? That's why how we now try to express our feelings, how we proceed this road. And I believe creative people, they have also kind of creative, not creative, but special childhood. So please welcome us to the kingdom of a little Nikki, right? And
Okay.
tell us how this mindset and maybe dreamy boy, how everything actually um, has impact, influenced your. Uh, okay, you're still so young. I don't know adulthood. I can't relate, but tell us about your childhood's kingdom, please.
Yeah, I
Thank
would love to. I would love to. So I would say that I've always been interested in like artsy, creative things. I think that before sewing, I was really interested in cooking, and I thought that I wanted to be a chef for the longest time. I remember I went to like a little cooking school after school, like when I was in like 8 or 9. But when I watched the first episode of Project Runway, this was a show that just really changed my way of thinking. Because with cooking, I was always fascinated in like transforming raw ingredients into something that people can enjoy, like a cake or some sort of dish. But with clothing, I didn't really think about that until I saw the show and I saw the way the designers were turning these like raw materials into gorgeous gowns and blazers and all these pieces. So I really wanted to try it. And I remember when I was like maybe 13 or 14, I asked Santa for a sewing machine. And I was really into it for a little while, but I have to be honest, like sewing takes a very long time. So me being like a young kid, I just didn't have the patience for it. And then when the pandemic came around, I had nothing but free time. And I saw this sewing machine just collecting dust in my corner. And I was like, well, I have a lot of free time. I have some materials here that I think I could play with. I want to not be bored. Let me just try it. And then the spark was like reignited, so to speak. So I would say from there, I really got into sewing. And yeah, I feel like it kind of just grew and grew into a point where it is today, where I'm really just like making a lot of designs. But yeah, it all started from Project Runway, I would have to say.
Oh my God, amazing. Thank you for sharing this story. It's like I said, you see, creative people, they have so much feelings and emotions. We we want to proceed, but maybe when we're kids, we don't know how, right? So that's why it's like it's typical actually, yes. I can notice that they it's multifaceted talents because it can start from one kind of art, like you said, cooking, but cooking then it's amazing that from some people you can like puzzles, like wow, suddenly something that people can enjoy. But with fashion, I believe it's even more cool because then it's a little bit also sustained process, a little bit long term enjoyment, right? And I hope
Hmm.
you'll come back to the fashion when we are not just using it, like we are not committed to use it many times, but just because we know fast fashion is the biggest problem now, and we, especially the teenagers, they like they love to change all the time. But I hope at least they can upcycle, recycle, do a lot of just decoration that you don't need to buy all the time and just throw away, right? So amazing that you actually discovered you've been creative. And with cooking, maybe it's easy also to fail with cooking then, sometimes because
Right.
that. But amazing, I saw your design, it's incredible. It's really, really, I do know that you have this huge future, and it's just the beginning. So yes, uh tell us, are you I understand that your second name is Italian, but tell us a little bit about your background, because I met you in New York. So you're from New York or Jersey. I mean, you're local. And what is about your school background, and fashion became like a hobby, or now you would like to make it more actually the purpose of your life? And
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Long Island, which is where I live now. But ever since I got to go to the city with my parents at a young age, I just felt the energy of the city. It really is like so tangible, and you can really just like see the amazement of the people, and just what people are wearing in the city is so inspiring. Like I could just sit on a side street in Soho and just watch so many different outfits, and I really feel like that was so inspiring to me growing up. So I've always had the goal of moving to the city from a young age, and I feel like
Mhm.
I'm very close to reaching that goal, and I'm going to be moving there very soon. But right, fingers crossed, fingers
Yeah,
crossed
we
for me.
do.
But I went to college in Boston at Northeastern University.
Uh,
And I was a business major, and my background is in business and marketing. And even today, I work at a PR firm, and fashion is my main passion and is one of my biggest interests, but it's not something that I really pursue like on a career level just yet. I really am very energized by it as a hobby, and I'm a bit scared to like commercialize it and monetize it, but never say never. Maybe that's something that I can do in the future. Sustainable fashion is something that's so interesting to me, but for now, I'm really liking the idea of transforming like a unconventional material into like a public statement and just kind of wearing it and just seeing where that goes from more of like a content creator perspective.
Yes, amazing, because you see, it's like again your bold creations, like it's really diverse, it's about diversity, but again, like it's, yes, it's the sustainability social part and advocacy. But I think it's amazing start, like you have really solid background, because I'm sure one day you will come there, you're so talented, you would like to really uh you know challenge yourself even more, but then to even like have background, like you said now, business and finance, everything can help you so much. Because personally, me, I have two master degree now, I'm also pursuing a PhD, but I'm
Wow.
kind of more humanitarian anyway. And even my first degree was economical, but it was like, okay, I made in Soviet that long time ago, and it was in another way how it was attracted to me. It was so boring, just theoretical, so I didn't find really my interest in that. It was just numbers, a lot of numbers, which didn't make sense to me because I'm so creative. And kind of I feel sometimes, oh, my creation just fly away, and somebody need like really with like structured mind, like really kind of, well, it's so cool, but still we need to eat, we need to buy that, we need to provide it. Oh really? Oh, okay, so exists in the world. All right. So it's amazing that you actually even now, like have so many ingredients in your recipe. Then when one day, probably very soon, or when you decided you're bold enough, like to come with Nick Porter, and I hope still that I will be interested for you, I will be there for you.
Thank you. I hope
So
so too.
maybe hosting your show one day, right? And then you have this background and this and this. It's amazing. It's
Thank
very
you.
wise way to do, because so many people, they just go boldly for creativity and suddenly like wow, but it's also like checks to pay, all that stuff. It's yeah, it's not that funniest part.
Right,
But
right.
okay, so sustainable. Yes, I saw your designs. I was like, oh my god, it's so. But do you remember your absolutely, like you said, it was COVID time, but like your first piece? Do you still have this first piece? What was it about? It was.
Yeah, let's see. I think my first like really shocking piece was this jacket that I made during my undergrad in Boston. I'll have to send you the photos later. I think I like
Okay.
archived it on my
Yeah, we
Instagram,
can
but
make a post with Instagram that like yeah.
yeah, I actually deleted it from my Instagram because it was a project I did with like one of my ex relationships, which is tea. But we did this jacket that was, I think, 20 feet long. I really didn't know how to make clothes super well, but I knew I wanted to do something like really shocking. So
Mhm.
my ex-boyfriend is he was like a film major, but he was my photographer. I like forced him to take pictures of me, and I had this jacket that wasn't super well made, but it was like just so long with this cheap white fabric, and it was
Mhm.
about 20 feet long, and we just went down a Boston street and just had the jacket like trailing behind me. We were just like stopping traffic, and like I was very inconvenient for all the cars on the road. We would always have to stop and have to gather up the jacket, and by the end of the night it was like brown. It was originally white fabric, but it was like completely brown and ruined. But it was such a fun day, and just playing with this jacket and just seeing people's reactions, it just really like sparked something in me just to like have more humor in fashion, because I think that's something that we really need to have. I think life can be so serious right now, and I think that making fun of fashion and just like having a sense of whimsy and like lightness, if that's even a word, but like a sense of light is
Yeah.
something that is really fun for me. So I'd say that was my first memory.
Amazing, because I totally relate. Like it's not that long. I started with kind of this a little bit high fashion or something when you go like really runway for Paris Fashion Week or Milan Fashion Week, and I'm very like alive. I'm too much alive with a lot of emotions. I like really like and for me sometimes really to keep this kind of lemon citron face just like this, I kind of can't pretend to be not myself, because this is typically not me between all these like Then catwalks, I need to do a little bit my vibes, and everybody who knows me, then I was like, like it's everybody, oh, now she has her 2 minutes of her vibe, but now she like, okay, 1, 2, 3, then citron face or arrogant or bitchy. And I don't know actually that the I'm so nerd, so actually probably I should go on Google and why it started like that, who was actually the what was big background and why it's rooted like that. It should be totally, it's kind of, I understand that it should be just major focus on fashion and you don't need to like really notice a lot to the person. But I kind of disagree as well, because it doesn't mean it will be less interesting. What do you think, if also the person who has strong personality actually has something special, then it's emerging even more stronger duo, right?
Yeah, that's why I think you were so like compelling as a host of Harley's show, like because you like for context, Blair was the host of the Harley show and like welcoming people in. So I think that it's a hard job, and I think that's why we were so drawn to each other, because you were so warm and so like you were professional, but you were also like very fun and very engaging. So I think that it is a fine line to master, but I think you were great.
Oh, thank you so much, Maria. So that's why, like, when I came from Paris Fashion Week, what was 3 weeks ago, probably, yes. And you have no idea, like, backstage, also, always, it should have look very glamorous, right? When we walk and when a lot of magazines and everything, and after the magazines, they, oh my God, it looks like, okay, everything just goes smooth and all this. But, can you imagine? Like, it's like, also like iceberg, you can see just 10%, right? It's the same
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
like making a movie theater, that actually everything before the screen stage and this pre-production and everything, and when you see backstage, like, can you imagine, like, really really diversity from all people from all over the world, all over ethnicity, emotions, emotional intelligence, cultures, mentality, languages, and all this like one big cooking melting ball, like, like ball, like this, the whole day. So it's not that easy actually, uh maybe to all the time stay like just no emotional, no, not calm, right? So I love that part of fashion, because it's so kind of diverse and inclusive, but at the same time very exclusive. It's up to actually how you can proceed it, right? Because what do you think about, like, if you would guess one question and you would wish in 5 years time, because now it's happened a lot about body positive fashion and not just like, just one size, because this size, okay, if you're born with like being very skinny, it's okay, but it's also kind of problem for teenagers, because they social media, they try to copy all this model, which is really really like, I understand they have this type of body that now it's still in fashion, be like, like almost transparent, but like I have two teenagers, they start like between 15 and 16, and now they get informed and they, yes, and one of them, but maybe I also want to be a model like you, and they couple of days they should just stop eating, right? And this is a problem. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that we need to advocate for actually, like you do, uh, very exclusivity in fashion, and also at the same time, because this is an art which actually should combine, unite people, right? Because if you love fashion, me fashion, you see, we immediately from one tribe, right? Even in
Mm-hmm.
different part of the world. So so what would you wish in 5 years, like, if you was kind of like magician in 5 years, okay, Nick could like play orchestra of fashion world, what would you change actually?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with the whole body positivity movement in fashion. It has been such a struggle ever since probably the dawn of the modern runway shows, right, to have body inclusivity. And I think that we had a moment where it was looking positive, but I feel like it's not really the case anymore, and it's kind of like reverted back to what once was. And I would love to see more body positivity and more brands choosing plus size models. I think that that's something that is really being overlooked right now. But as well as body positivity, I would love to see like more trans models. I think like every show used Alex Kansani this past year, and she's like one of my favorites, obviously, but I think more than one would be nice. And obviously models of color and just being more diverse, like you said, because art is a uniter. And I think one brand that really did this well was the Blondes. I got to volunteer for them for New York Fashion Week a few years ago. So I really know everything you were saying before about how behind the scenes, like you really don't know the behind the scenes, you only see the runway show. So I definitely really resonated with that, working behind the scenes with the Blondes, and they used many trans models and were really inclusive and just had a great time with the show, and they didn't take themselves too seriously, but they also had a high level of artistry. So I think just being more inclusive is something that I really want to see for the fashion industry. It sounds basic, but it hasn't happened yet, so we'll keep saying it until it does.
I think actually, yes, you are so right. Brilliant comment. That it sounds kind of basic, but it's still a little bit talking. Isn't like we talk and talk, but when it's coming to the action, we still like just a few. And particularly now, I'm not into politics, but okay, I am. I cannot be like totally indifferent because I'm Ukrainian, and what's happened in my country, and especially my city. Of course, it's such a painful subject of mine, so I even cannot relate sometimes anymore. But I mean, like, also, I've been to New York when I met you, and 14th of February, it was actually Valentine's Day. So I was invited to conduct the interview on New York Stock Exchange, and it was
Wow.
about my topic, diversity, equality, inclusion, because this is also the topic of my PhD. And exactly, I used to work to talk about gender diversity, very important, cultural diversity, and also neurodiversity now, because neurodivergent people, actually, they are the most creative. And neurodivergence, it's a new trend, but it's not a new fact. It's like people with ADHD, ADD, OCD, dyslexia, dyspraxia. Basically, it's even now 30% of population is just identified population has this neurodivergence. But from Nikola Tesla and Mozart and Bach and Einstein and Bill Gates and Elon Musk, and everybody has neurodivergence, right? And we need, actually, I think, to make more and more creative society, where not just creative, but inclusive society, when we can talk also boldly about that we are so different. That's why we are so interested in each other, and that's why it's beauty of it, like biodiversity, like you see the. So I think, like you said so correctly, we talk a lot, but we have to be even more bold. And that's why I loved your fashion, I love your statement, I love your art,
Thank
because
you.
it it is very brave to do what you are doing. Exactly, because it's so easy now to follow the patterns, like because social media, nice, it's kind of because of them, you and me, we can talk now, but all these major trends, to like to make a statement, it's also it's so boldly. And I know how much emotional potential it takes, because you have to be the opposite, right? And it's not that
Mhm.
easy, because then you also need to tolerate all type of comments. And I believe you know what I mean,
I, d-
right?
I definitely do. I do know what you
Yeah.
mean.
So for me, that's why, because I really mean that you're a role model. I wish, like, my even kids, they knew more about people like you. And you also kind of actually should be like kind of mentor and coach, because you are doing that. And my question is now, because like you said, it's the world now, especially now, has so much, like, tension, political uh, stress, all that. But we need more to be uplifting, artists uniter, smiling, giving hugs, giving a good vibes, right? It's
Hmm.
exactly what you are doing. It's like I feel in every your creation like that. I was like, oh, I feel your soul through that. Like, what your vibe. It's so different, but it's the major thread through that. So, but how on a daily basis, actually, when you still want to make statement in this very competitive world of New York, right? And where you still can have so much resistance and comments. How do you have any, like, daily mental small your things, which how you can proceed and digest all this negativity Yeah.
Yeah, I
What is
mean,
what is your recipe? I understand because your smile is undeniable. It's like, when you see your soul, you smile. So like I tell you, I talk with one of the big now people in the industry. I just mentioned you having you on Sundays. Oh my God, Nick! Of course I know he's the cutest, love is so. I said yes, exactly. Like, and this is also kind of so rare weapon now. Like when people like you, then sometimes people notice they don't know how to react because you are so like this. But then I also want to be like this, smiling and open. We are so vulnerable. Like me, still, I'm
right.
so oversensitive, and I need to protect myself. And I'm not good at that. I'm learning on daily basis, like meditation, manifestation, journaling. But it just last 2 years, I was not aware about it. What about you? Because for me, you look like very already wise soul, being so young. How you can on daily basis be so smiley, so kind. What are
Oh.
you eating? What are you doing?
Well, first of all, thank you for all those kind words. That really means a lot to me. But like you hit the nail on the head as well. Like it's not so finite. It's not like, yes, this is me 100% of the time. Like obviously, even the most
Yeah.
confident people will have times where they're a little bit like doubting themselves. I will say like the clothes that I wear, like these statements on my Instagram, I kind of wear them like, and they're kind of like my alter ego, so to speak. Like when I have one of my creations on, like I'm like in a mode and I'm like really feeling myself because I worked really hard to make this outfit. I'm not going to be insecure. I have no time to be insecure in the clothes that I made because it's my vision and in my mind I know what I want to wear, what I think is going to be good. And if I'm feeling insecure about it, then it's just all a waste of time. I feel like I'm so inspired by honestly like a lot of YouTubers that I've grown up with, and honestly like a lot of drag queens as well. I spent some time in Milan and London, and I think the friends that I've made there have really made me so confident. And
Mm.
just because they live their authentic selves, a lot of them are queer or trans, and just being around them for so long and being in a new environment really built this sense of confidence that I have. And I think translating that and bringing that back outside of Europe to my home city of New York has been a process, and it is not something that you can fix overnight. But in the past few years, I've really grown and built it up. And in terms of like hate comments, I definitely get some hate comments, but I think at the end of the day, you just have to laugh. Like these people are so bothered from something that I've done. I think that's kind of a win. Like I've made something, I don't know if I'd count it as art, but like something that is artistic that make you feel an emotion, like whether it's a good emotion or a negative one. Like it's interesting that I have that power. So I don't know. I kind of think it's funny when someone is a bit negative to me. But yeah.
Perfect. I think that's why I really meant that you already now can be like, so wise coach and mentor, how you have all these emotions and it's how you perceive them, right? Because so many people, they're so frustrated, and because they have maybe so many insecurities, so for them it's much easier to accumulate all these, like, bad mean feelings and just to throw it away on the people, right? And then somehow believe, oh, but because you can actually basically proceed all you, and you're okay with all your emotions, and you like, we can connect with this world, and this is me, that's how I live, like, this is my statement, and it's art, it's the most beautiful thing. It's like, you can never hurt by that anybody. So I would actually wish that every people who has like, issues with some insecurity, they could sit and make art, then we would never have a war, right?
Right? 100%. And I'd also love to add like from a professional perspective, like even if you're not making these like crazy garments, like even from a smaller perspective, if you're trying to break into the creative industry, how you present yourself is really everything. Like another example from when I worked on the blondes, we had to do a lot of hand sewing, and I honestly I'm not that good at hand sewing. Like I make these clothes, but I'm really not that good at it. And I was in a room with like 5 or 6 FIT students. I didn't go to fashion school, but they all did, and they were all sewing circles around me. But I honestly think I had like one of the best attitudes. I like was the warmest, and I was there on time, and I was one of the hardest workers there, and I think that's what made me stand out. It wasn't necessarily my technical ability. Obviously that's important, but your attitude, people talk about your professionalism in these kind of roles. So if you're trying to succeed, just I think being warm is the way to go.
Yeah, amazing. Yes, for me also authenticity, but empathy, it's everything. Like, genuinely and empathy, and be yourself. truly 100%, you found your calling, be yourself. It's people like they feel this way immediately. Nothing can be like, that's me. And yes, you do you. It's your karma, your choice. It's me. I know I'm still very like sometimes over kind or naive. I'm always trying to help people, uplift them, and sometimes really I can get so unexpectedly backwards like this. And then some people, oh, we have warned you, you're always too kind, and that and that. Said yes, but you see, why should I be a slightly copy of somebody? Because first of all, it would never enjoy me, and then again, it's their conscious or unconscious choice, their karma. It's their way to come to this world, right? That's not mine. I want to wake up with my integrity, my values, still delivering that to this world, and go to bed and be myself, and to be maybe at least if I'm a good example for my kids. I have adopted 2 kids and show them every single day, not with my words but with actions. Like
Right.
I really still believe the most important value to be not taker, to be giver, right? To be able to, if God, I believe in God, give you this opportunity, this is a mission that you can also help another people, right? Because you're also a role model in every single interaction in society, right? So that's
Hmm.
what you would like actually to get, because everybody still won't get attention, love, and care.
Hmm.
But
Well,
then we somebody should to actually be like, uh projection of this in society, right? Somebody have to actually expel these feelings, express that they're still there, and actually they are very powerful. So amazing. That's why I understood that we connect, you and me, immediately. And I think also all these small details, they are so considerable, like to be in time, if the problems now, like and smoke and all type of stuff. But of course, if it's your hobby but still your passion and job, and some people really like, depends on you, you have to be committed as well, right?
hmm.
Because people actually talk still. Social media, it's cool, you can put on your Instagram, whatever, but people who met you once, they talk and say, oh, immediately maybe they will forget your name, but how you feel them, you make them feeling, they never forget. Because they can say, oh, this guy, he was so smiling, maybe it was this, I don't know his name, but he was that and that and that, right?
100%.
Not important about names. But actually about names, what was and what, and still, I mean, like fashion designers, like your biggest, or not biggest, or kind of like biggest inspiration, what kind of like um fashion modeling world, like, I mean, haute couture, maybe you really like, still like, wow, can feel like, oh yeah, that's true, this is my inspiration. Or maybe now it's just small things, but or some major brands. What?
Yeah, I think early on, my biggest inspirations were Jeremy Scott and Betsy Johnson, and they still are some of my biggest inspirations. These are two people who, like, have million-dollar lines and are just so successful in the fashion industry, but they also have such a sense of play and whimsy to their designs. I really think that both of them are also champions for the queer community, and both are just really fun and colorful people who I think have always stayed true to that part of themselves and have really just been their authentic self throughout their journey. So I think those two people stick out the most to me. I'd also love to add Daniel Roseberry from Schiaparelli to the list. He is just such a genius, and he's someone that I'm really getting into recently. So I'd say those three are like my fashion holy trinity, so to speak, or my fashion trifecta. On the local level, I feel like connecting with New York City creatives has just been so inspiring, and like even admiring them from afar. Like Julia Fox is someone who I also really look up to. She's had such a wild life. I read her book and everything like that. I'm a huge fan of her. But Julia Fox is one of the inspirations to me because she is so authentically herself, and she does not care what anyone else has to say about her. She dresses in the most unconventional ways. For example, she partnered with Velveeta, the cheese brand, and she wore this bright yellow wig, and she wore like a purse with a block of cheese in it, like just doing the most random thing just for the sake of being random and being authentic. I think it's so fun to watch, and I'm always following her every move.
Amazing. About your pieces, because I saw them. It's amazing. What would you consider part today? Like, what was your most okay, let's put a creative piece. What I think, yes, if I would be you, I would be proud of every single, because it's connected with your emotions, that and that, and your circumstances. Like you said, it's everything what we kind of express what happens in our life at that time, right? But what was like your still like everything you're doing, but that piece was like, oh yes, my God, what was
Yeah,
that?
for for me, it was definitely my Halloween costume, which was a sexy train conductor.
Yes,
This
that's my
really,
favorite. Oh my God, that's my. I was in shock when you showed me that day you and me met. In the beginning, first 2 seconds, I didn't understand. It's like, yeah, it's this one, because you see this part. I was like, oh, okay. And but when you switched, I was like, oh
right?
my God.
Thank you. Yeah, that piece, it was inspired by Gottmik, who is a trans artist and who's also on RuPaul's Drag Race, which is where I get a ton of my inspiration from. And she had this amazing look that was, the front of it was like a suit and tie, and the back was just like a thong and like panties and garters. And I was like, whoa, like the exact same way you felt looking at my piece, which is like the best
Yeah.
reaction I would have ever hoped to get. But yeah, I really just wanted to push the envelope, and it was Halloween, so I feel like it was the time to. So I really just wanted to go for it. And my friend Eva and I, we shot it going to the train station and going to the TWA hotel and just seeing people on the train's reaction as I walked forward and it was normal. And then on the back, they were like,
Okay. Yeah.
it was cool. It was fun. It was really like surprising to me. Like, I still can't believe I did that, honestly.
Oh my God! It's also this piece I shared with Rafael, and it's like, okay, because this, like you said, the first reaction like, oh, what fashion, okay, and then we were like, oh my God, and I said, I love it. I would actually, if you kind of would choose some kind of this vibe for us, I just don't know. I still, even me, I want to be very surprised, but definitely with you, actually, I'm into. We can do something like that, and it will be so
I
fun
love
that
that.
now we can make video, even reality, actually, even more like part one. Maybe you can like start making video when maybe you inspiration, give a little bit of information in advance and when you're doing, but we can also make part like reality reactions, right? It's
Yeah.
a very nice movie about that, because it's at the end of the day everything about people's also we still like in the world, especially art, it's united, but we express ourselves, but we love to know how this particular piece speaks out to the world, right? What kind of
Right.
emotions? Because also people need to show more and more emotions. We still like we're more and more robots now, and everybody just the same pattern, the same like. But we need like sometimes we need to expose. I really I do in a good way, and the art is a very good way to expose people. It's not nothing about the because now we have all kind of other exposures. Yes.
Right. And exposed is very literal in this
Yes,
sense. Like,
this was like, and this for me now, I'm trying to concentrate with my 6 languages, and really hard 2 days
that's
and I
so
dropped this. I loved you also. Okay, all pieces I love, but this black one, I know this word now in my not English, but it's not trampolina, but
yeah, trampoline.
yes, yeah, I was like, it could be. I love it. It could be me, but I would never ever think it would be my last choice to understand that somebody could turn into trampoline. Was amazing. You still
Thank
have that
you.
piece?
I do. It's in a garment bag in my closet, but it was really fun to make. I found this trampoline at my local, I call it the bins. It's the
Mhm.
store where everything is in these massive bins, and each day the price rotates. So on Wednesdays, everything's $1. So I went there like a few weeks ago and I saw everything was $4, and I saw this giant trampoline. I was like, I just have to get this. And
Oh
I
my
could barely
god!
like fit it in my arms. It was just so much material. And the way that it like has this massive train is just so dramatic. And the fact that it was all black as well, it like kind of gave like a Matrix serious vibe. So I just
Yeah.
really love that.
Yeah, it's edgy because for me it hit immediately. I live now in Norway, and it's kind of trend here. It was never in my thoughts when I lived in Ukraine, but because it's maybe kind of also a little bit expensive stuff. But almost everybody who has especially kids, they have trampoline, and just like different maybe shapes and size. And then I for me like, oh my god, this is incredible. This isn't that it's magical, because even Here you could really like, it's everywhere, and people like, I don't know what they do them after winter. Sometimes they flow away, they distracted, but it's amazing. So if I'm like, oh, this is a very cool statement for me, because coming back and say, you see guys, you even that can transform to the art. So we still,
Right.
even me even can like, can have like something very nice for set, and here, wow, trampolina, and we can maybe create like, yellow and blue, it will be huge Ukrainian flag, I don't know.
I love that. That's a brilliant
Yeah,
idea.
so, and we can, paint each other, so we can really do some creative stuff, crazy fun stuff with statements. I love also do statements. Amazing. So my last question, just for today, because I'm looking forward to, of course, have many conversations. First of all, congratulations on your last, it was collaboration with which brand was it? It was very nice production. I saw your one of your last posts on Instagram. It was, you probably would share with us the names, and it was also very proud moment for you and for me when I discovered that. Could you
Thank
share that?
you. Yeah, I'm really fortunate to be a partner with a few brands. I'm in the beginning of my like content creator journey, so to speak, but I got to work with an underwear brand called Me Undies, and for them I made this like heart headpiece that I wore for
Oh my
Fashion Week.
god!
That
Okay.
was because they had like heart underwear, so that matched. And then I also got to work with the Gap, which was so fun, and I made a
Yes.
jacket out of I don't know what it even was. I think like a car cover or a tent. But yeah, I'm really fortunate to work with like a lot of local brands and a lot of local creatives as well. I just worked with this amazing photographer named Noah Schaub, and we shot the trampoline jacket with this model named America, and she really rocked the jacket. I think it's so interesting to have something that I make be worn like on a guy versus a beautiful like female model. It really just changes the perspective, and I wore it with a shirt and tie, and it was a bit more like I guess formal, and she wore it with like this gorgeous like button down shirt, and it was a bit more like edgy and punk rock. I thought that was so cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm always fortunate to work with brands, and I'll always try my best to have a good collaboration.
Amazing. So then I'm looking forward, maybe when I'm here we also can do it together. And because you still into cooking, right?
Yes.
Because people believe that model they don't eat, but you can ask Harley. The most precious moments of our day was, of course, meeting people like you and vibing. But we love, like, we were working so hard, but it was like sacred. We met each other for the evening. We were like a family, and we could digest the whole day from spiritual perspective, personal growth. And he's amazing cooker. He's from Brazil. He made
Oh
all
yeah.
this food for me, and okay, I was doing the dishes and everything because I was so privileged and happy to stay with him all this week, right? And we made our wives, and he made all these beautiful breakfast for us and wraps and sandwiches, but and also very nice, like full food, special food in the evenings, and we have a little bit of wine. It was also the most beautiful thing. So maybe next time we can actually gather together and
Yes, please. I would love that.
because me, I know I'm not cooking, but I'm doing the dishes. I love that. I do it. When I tell people, they believe it's not a joke. I grew up without possibility to have a water, hot water, sometimes just cold, because it was kind of, yeah, struggling childhood many days. So
Hmm.
now for me it's big privilege. I love doing dishes. It's true.
Wow.
Do that. So then it was perfect, task delegation. So he was our major gourmet cooker, and I was like, I perfectly after that I could like make a dish. So it was, yes, perfect match, and I'm
I
looking
love
forward.
that.
So we can do also this art together.
Yes, please. Harley's
Isn't
kind of my mentor, so to speak, I would say. If I had a mentor, it would be him because he really has like championed me to like be creative and like push the limits of what I can make. And he is the most sustainable designer. He uses anything you could think of, even more extreme than me. He used Tupperware as a bag, which was crazy in his most recent show. And the way he dressed you was absolutely beautiful with your hat. It was so
Yeah.
colorful. But yeah, he is really a mentor to me. He helped me on my first show. I did a small community show in Bushwick, and he brought clothing racks for me because I had no racks. And he's like, "This is how you need to do it." And he was helping me hand sew and all these things. So he really is a huge help.
Oh, amazing. I'm so proud. And I love him. So he's such a good soul. Oh my God. And we click like this immediately and became family. Yes. And I were also the day after I met you. I was invited to podcast where special podcast, and I wore this masterpiece, this corset gown from Coca-Cola corks. And
Wow.
you never know that actually for me it's even kind of very special wedding dress. But when I showed to every people, like I Zoom, I said, you see, said, oh my god, Valia, it's so big. I said, yeah, but you know what, it's Coca-Cola corks. And he made this corset for me from Lego pieces. You remember last year's
Yes,
corset?
that was
Oh my
wild. That was
god,
wild.
who died for? I can can you imagine, three of us, we could really change the world. Okay, amazing. My absolutely last passion and advocacy now, because I have OCD and sometimes it's really severe, and mental health now it's very big part of my life, and advocacy especially for people from Ukraine and post-traumatic syndromes and teenagers, which is bombed with so many information all the time. So if you would reflect a little bit about, like, because I know I think it's due to all this stress level every single day. We have this society which really, like, the speed of doing everything have to be just speeder and speeder. You never stop, you never pause, you never reflect, right? And then it's burnout. It's like totally. And teenagers, when they wait now, they need to make choice. Poor them. Like millions way go, millions attentions, intention, whatever. So about you, what do you think, how you would say, and especially fashion, you believe people who actually maybe have some panic attacks, depression and everything, could actually fashion therapy? Because I have, like, I believe in that things. Could it be the way to really, like, invest time for teenagers or maybe young people, alternative therapy, if you struggle with proceeding your emotions or depressions? Many young people now actually they're depressed. I had no idea
Mhm.
many young people do they experience that. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. It's a great question. I would say that yes, fashion is such an outlet and an escape for me. Like, growing up in the LGBT community, like I didn't always feel like so close to the people in my middle school and high school. So, I think I wish I realized this a bit earlier, but it wasn't really until college that I really started to like express myself with my own creations. And I think, I think I tried too early on, like, because we would have spirit days and they would always be the most fun days when everyone dresses up on a theme and you could just really go out of the box. Like even if it was as simple as a pajama day in my school, it really was exciting to me. So I think that really grew to 1,000 now and in my like college years and post college years. And I think that it is such a great way to express yourself and just to be yourself. It's like a form of exposure therapy to me that really has surprised me with how fun and shocking it is, and it really does help me with my confidence. And I think finding support in the community of local creatives and queer people in the city, and not even in just New York, in London and Milan, everywhere that I've been so lucky to have traveled to, has really just helped my confidence. So I think that if you're someone who maybe struggles with this from time to time, like we all do, just try your best to see how you feel putting on something that you've always wanted to wear and just maybe thought like, oh, like I really want to wear this, but I just don't know if it's going to look good, or I don't want people to judge me. Like, I think just go for it and just throw caution to the wind. It's 100% easier said than done, but just wear it for an hour. Just go get coffee and something that makes you exciting, because clothes are one of the most ultimate forms of self-expression that we have. So to be able to put something on and just go somewhere, it says a lot about who you are. So I understand dressing for comfort and dressing down, but yeah, I think you should try to dress up, and I encourage everyone who's listening to this, just wear that statement piece and just rock it and just see what happens.
Amazing. What a brilliant perspective. And it's really, actually, basically everybody can relate. It is not that difficult. You can, like you said, it's brilliant advice. Just try a bit, because all major changes, they never change in the nighttime. It's small pieces, right? It's this small step
100%. Baby.
therapy. So it's yeah, being a little bit, and then suddenly you say, wow, was a major trip, but it happens like this, right? So it's very wise, actually.
Thank
uh,
you.
Advice I would, yeah, I mean, that's why I love, like, people like you create and talk in my show, because I learn every single day something new. And for me now it's, oh, amazing, I even can transmit your message next time. So yeah, but try just a little bit and how you feel, right? Maybe you discover that vibes you could never imagine you have, like, oh wow, look at me now, like, I can pull my back and stay strong. And yeah, I mean,
Right.
Cool, cool, cool. I love, 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 love all these vibes, and I'm done. What we can do together in September. And actually, have you been into Paris Fashion Week? Have you done all of that?
No, I would love to. Can I share a quick story about Milan Fashion
Yeah,
Week before
yeah,
we
yeah.
just stop? Okay, Milan Fashion Week, while I was studying abroad, it was one of the first weeks I was there, and I was like, oh, I have to go to Milan Fashion Week, right? So I brought my sewing machine with me to the airport because I was like, I need to make a crazy outfit while I'm there. But my skills were not as sharp as they are now, so I had a really terrible outfit. I like bought a button-down shirt and I made these pink pants, and the pants like had a train,
Mhm.
and I really in my head like thought I was doing the best job ever. I was like, these are gonna look so good. I'm gonna like steal the show. So I went to the Gucci show. And I took public transportation there because I could not afford an Uber there. Or maybe, I'm sorry, it was the Prada show actually, and the Fondazione Prada is like outside of the city. So it was very far away, and everyone was stepping on my train because I didn't know how to make it. And it was like, it started off as this pink satin and it was like brown by the end. It was like totally disgusting. And
Oh
I
my god.
got there and I was like, well, like, I'm already here. Like, I'm in Milan. This is like a once in a lifetime thing. Like, I'm just gonna really just pretend that it's gorgeous. So I walk around and this reporter comes up to me and starts speaking to me in Italian, and my Italian is also like not that great. So I was like, I have no idea what he's saying. I was like, let me just go along with it. So I was like, yeah, like si, certo. And like I was saying all these things like trying to agree with him. And then I was so excited. I was like, wow, like someone really likes these pants. Like I'm so excited that someone likes these. I'm just gonna wait and see when this comes out and just is going to be the best day ever. This is my big break. So I kind of forget about it because this was in September. A few months later, I'm sitting in my bed and someone messages me on WhatsApp and they're like, is this you? And I made it in this video, and it was for this Italian publication called Le Iene, which is kind of like a tabloid like in America, like RTMZ, I guess. So this
Mhm.
reporter was totally roasting me, and he was like making fun of me. He was like, you have no idea how to make pants. Like he was like really like digging into me, but I was like
Oh my god, what is
it
this?
was just crazy. And it was like everyone in like Italy could have seen it. I mean, that's probably not accurate, but
No.
anyone who saw that saw me and saw this disaster. But it was like a kind of my lore almost. Like I really wanted to make these amazing pants, and ever since then I'm gonna try and like step up my craft a little bit, and I'll show that reporter who has the last laugh.
Oh, but you see, and I never fail, always lesson. Even that, I believe, like everything we are doing, actually, especially on the stage or face statement or art, because art is so subjective, individual. You could do whatever you want, basically. But if you have the three things: attitude, 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 and your authenticity, undeniable. Not nobody can say anything. Like if you go to a contemporary art museum, Andy Warhol and Duchamp about Pissarro, it doesn't matter. Like you do you. That's why you stay with that, right? What they
Mm-hmm.
think, like they accommodate choice, because maybe it's their job actually to roast or to do whatever. But it's at the end of the day, if they sleep with this kind of job task vibes, okay, it's their thing. But you did you, and also bold. And I would guess how many people, it's so easy to write and say something, but it's so difficult to do an act, to buy a ticket, to find Milan Fashion Week, to take some machine, to make a pants, even have no budget, to go, to show up, to appear. Yeah, huh? Come on. That's what for my it's heroism. So yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
totally okay, perfectly. Because what I'm saying, like the 8th of October,
Mm-hmm.
will begin the second attempt will be presentation of American designers in Paris Fashion Week, and I
Wow.
will be a model there, one of the major models. I'm already invited to go runway because now we had this show. It was the 7th and 8th. I went for 8 designers, and the major day was for 6 American designers, and it was big success. So I'm ready know the date and everything, because now we go together also to Cannes Festival.
Wow.
I'm very close to Michael Reed. He established, created this show. Probably he's kind of famous in the US. He for putting his fashion show the last 30 years. So what I mean that 8th of October will be this, and I can connect you with this guy, so you're more than welcome to
Wow,
be.
I would love that.
Yeah, and Felipe, he will be probably again traveling. He's one of the best photographers I love. He lives in DC.
Mm-hmm.
So I connect you with all these people, and then you're more than welcome. Then maybe yes, then that I can make for sure that 8th of
Wow.
October you can be with us there. Then you can make a statement there as well.
That would be a
Maybe
dream
we
come
can do
true.
together some crazy funny stuff and backgrounds. I feel yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
please welcome. But we talk after the show. I will.
Okay, yeah, we'll offline. Thank you so much for having me on. It was such a pleasure to connect with you as always. You are so inspiring to me because you are doing everything imaginable. You are all over the world and just such a force. So to be able to learn from you has been really great. And yeah, thank you so much.
Think a lot. My absolute last uplifting. I'm playing this. I'm still like we started from childhood, and let's do the magic at the end of the day because yes, we have a lot of busy times in real life after the show. So this little but super powerful girl, pink. My okay. By the way, my color, just for my favorite color is a pink. All kind of pink, baby pink. But actually, for the fashion, I had car like this pink.
Ooh,
I had
okay.
car in Norway. Can you imagine like this? It was
Oh
you had
yes, I
Norway
love that.
with butterflies and eyelashes and all that stuff. Can you imagine? So I'm like you, bold to be different or to be dead. That's me.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So this is from which fairy tale? This one.
Aladdin.
Yes, exactly. This
Okay.
self beauty, she is so helpful because she actually worked very hard 24/7 for making all the wish from people all over the world true. But eh, not three wishes from each. I'm sorry, but one wish we can afford. So my last, not last, but last wrapping question for today for the what would be your wish for my best helper for today? What would you wish?
Ooh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I wish for a society that does not give into micro trends anymore. I wish for a society that embraces personal style and really takes risks with clothing and is unafraid to be their authentic selves, as well as a society that welcomes all regardless of background. It is not asking for a lot, but that would be my big wish for this gorgeous lamp.
I love it so much because I can imagine all my people, all who I've been hosting there. So because it was almost never I could actually experience that one single person actually wished anything for themselves. So it's amazing. It's how we still people. Yes, we always now even you were already wishing to save and change really lives for so many millions. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy. So now and she extra efficient when it's that kind of wishes. So thank you so much, and she I'm sure
Oh,
she
I'm
will
ready.
start working. Yeah,
I love
amazing.
it.
So thank you so much for being with us. Oh my God, you're so creative. I'm so dying to be and create, like really not just sit and speaking because even now we have like small desks but like a lot of vibrations to make and
Mm-hmm.
spread the most important help, love, mentorship, collaboration, coaching like you and me did, like helping people really and spread. And I love actually I learned two things. No, I learned a lot from you, but like try to be a little bit every day, just put something and maybe go and take some coffee shop logo. Amazing. I would be uh transferring this message to you and actually quoting where I could get this message very valuable, wise, and I love your statement, which is so art is united. I love it. So I would probably even call our you and my show maybe art is united. Yeah, but I love also if
Okay.
art wears what it wants. We will see. So yeah, so thank you so much, and I wish all your beautiful projects come to fulfillment. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
already, uh, kind of there where you are, that I could discover you because of your nature, because of your heart, and what would I say? Yes, art is united, and it's you know I also call always like art by my heart, and like art and heart, some kind of it's very close. So I wish also
Yeah.
and me and people could really understand that if they have emotions, so first of all they should proceed them as much possible close to their heart, and then start somehow be bold. Oh, what if I try something of art, right?
Exactly, exactly. It doesn't take a whole lot. You know, I saw one creator, she had she's a Boston creator named Tiara, and she
Mhm.
had this denim suit that she was just like kind of, she wore it a lot. She wanted to just re-jazz it up, and she just glued some gems to it, and it was transformed. So, you know, it takes baby steps, but I think it would be exciting, you know, for people to really just go for it. But yeah, thank you again so much. This has been so much fun, and yeah, I'm gonna turn you out in September. It's gonna be so much fun, and we are gonna have some amazing looks.
Okay, then, my beautiful people, yes, we send you my hearts, art from hearts and hearts from arts ways, and stay
Oh,
tuned with
that's
us.
cute.
That's very cute. So yes, next part will be like action, action. So I wish everybody beautiful Sunday, a lot of art, a lot of hearts in art together, and stay tuned with us. And I will be making a post. Then when if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. And now, oops, I can also you can also reach out directly to Nick. You see his vibes. He's very helpful, very sweetheart, really. So, and okay, and stay with us. Stay inspired, creative, and open-hearted. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
please. Bye,
Bye. Yeah.
guys. Thank you.
Bye, darling. Have a nice one. Bye, bye. Thank you again.
Of course.